you doing, everybody? And welcome to NinjaToons, where the martial arts meets the creative arts. I'm Michael Voog, the Art Ninja, and this is Walkthrough Wednesday, How to Draw the Mandalorian. Now that I have that dealt with, let's get started on this tutorial. Now, the reason why I chose The Mandalorian as a subject for this Walkthrough Wednesday is because Disney Plus is going to be releasing The Mandalorian November the 12th. I'm so excited, I hope you are too. So let's draw The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian starts with the letter M, so that's the letter we're going to use in our first step. Now, as I draw this, notice that I'm starting the letter M, the top of the letter M, about halfway on the piece of paper. So let's draw a center line for symmetry. We're going to draw in a waist. And then we're going to draw in his rib cage. For his legs, we're going to make 2 triangles, and then we're going to add his helmet. Next step is we're going to draw his chest. And then from his chest, we're going to bring out his arms. Now the length of the arms is going to end up about where the waist is. So let's draw in his arms. And then we're going to put his armor over his shoulders using C curves. Now, proportion-wise on a character, halfway from the top of the shoulder to the wrist is where the elbow would be. And now for his hands, let's use squares. If you didn't catch it, watch last week's 2-minute tip on how to draw better hands. I'm going to draw his trigger finger. And we're just using basic shapes right now to lay in our character. Now for his feet, we're going to put in cone shapes for his feet. And then halfway from the waist to the ankle is where your kneecaps would be. So this right here gives you the overall proportion of the Mandalorian. Now we can just start adding some detail. We're going to put on his cape. So C curve, straight line, and then let's have the cape draping down here. And we're just going to use a simple rectangle shape. We'll add some more detail to the drapery here in just a moment. He also has his gauntlets. So we're going to put that on both sides. Remember, the gauntlet's on the forearm. So we're going to use a C curve to show that it's wrapping around his forearm, which is a cylinder. Then we're going to draw in his chest plate. Then he also has, not just to protect his chest, but the whole rib cage. some armor. His stomach is exposed a little bit, but right below that he has his utility belt. So use C curves for the belt, and then we can add little compartments on the belt. Now we have his leg armor. So we're going to use more of a pentagon shape. To cover and protect his thighs. Then we have his shin guards that resemble almost like a coffin. And then it looks like around the shin he has extra ammunition. So he can put some cartridges or something like that wraps around his leg. On the other side, and this is by design, when you're doing character design, you don't want everything completely symmetrical. So on the other side, he has another type of armor that again kind of comes around right below his kneecaps, and then he just has his boot. Again, more of that cone shape wrapping around the cylinder. Then he also has his clothing underneath all of this also, so some looser clothing. Then he has his boots, so we can use a C curve for the toe. Do that on both sides. And now we can add in some weaponry. So we can add in his blasters. And if you want to use your imagination and create different types of blasters, now as we're dealing with the hands, remember we have the thumb that comes down. Here's the trigger finger, and then the rest of the fingers wrap around the handle. So we have the thumb coming down, his trigger finger here, and then we have the other three fingers that rest underneath his thumb. Now he also has a really cool like blaster rifle. So he has a sash that he uses. And then we can put the hilt using a C curve. And if you guys have watched the second trailer that came out recently, he just used this. So that's pretty cool. Make sure you draw through so it lines up. Then you have this cool fork shape. So there's his rifle. For folds in his cape, remember what we've talked about this before, you can use an S curve just to vary it up a little bit. And now we'll put on the helmet. So the helmet is essentially the letter T. You're gonna thicken that up, almost like a block letter. And then the cool thing in these designs is that sometimes the armor mimics what's underneath. So you see here, this line, this is almost like our cheekbones. And that's really cool in how they designed this helmet. And you have another C curve right here. It's sunken in. Like that. And then there's some thickness to the helmet. Like that. So that was our rough sketch of the Mandalorian. And the one thing I really want to stress here is that there's so much detail in his costumes and his armor. You really want to focus on the big shapes first. It doesn't matter all the details if you don't get the big shapes right. So focus on the big shapes, and then during our cleanup now, we'll add all those little details. Now that we've spent so much time really focusing on the cleanup, we've added all the little details in the weaponry and in the armor and in the folds and the fabric. The next step is adding color. Now the Mandalorian, if you look at the armor, has a very specific color palette. What I mean by that is you'll see a lot more grays in the colors, in the reds, the browns, even maybe some of the greens. So there's a lot more gray into those colors. So it has a more muted rather than a vibrant color palette. So when we go to apply color now, on this last step, just watch the color palettes that I use and see if you can copy that in your drawing. And that's our walkthrough Wednesday of how to draw the Mandalorian. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I'm so excited for the Mandalorian to be released on Disney Plus, coming out on November 12th. And we want to know, what are some other characters you want us to do for walkthrough Wednesday? We have all of November now, so it's open. Leave some comments in the section below, but before you do that, make sure you strike that like button. And if you're not a subscriber yet, smash that subscribe button. Now, leave those comments in the section below of a character you want us to address in Walkthrough Wednesday. Until next time, guys, remember your ABCs. Always be creating. Make it a great day and stay tuned for more videos. Arigato.